Let's just like hard left turn into something fun and talk about movie 43 because that's.
How did you watch the whole movie?
I mean, probably when it came out,
Okay.
but that was what, 10 years ago?
Yes.
Like I have.
Yes.
Now it's like that's one of those things where like sketch shows have become so ingrained in like everybody's lives. It's like clips of that pop up on fucking TikToks and Instagram reels and shit like that.
I feel like that's how I've watched it recently.
And like people like they're like, what the hell is this from? And you're like, oh yeah, this was this huge movie with this insane cast, and no one knows how it got made, and you got to work on it.
Yeah, so this was one that.
Can you explain what movie 43 is?
So movie 43.
I just did.
Yeah. Well,
still confused.
Still one.
the thing is, like, at this point, I was doing sketch comedy with my buddy Danny, who's on the Adventures of Danny and Mike podcast. He is the Danny and the Danny. So I was shooting a lot of sketch comedy, writing a lot of sketch comedy, and really wanted to do that, be a comedic actor or be something in the world of sketch comedy. I quickly learned that people don't buy sketch comedy shows. There's no money in sketch comedy. So that sort of faded after a while, and then we started the podcast. But I got offered this thing, and they just said, "Oh, it's kind of like a sketch comedy movie," and I was like, "Ooh." My thought was like, oh, I'm going to slip in some sketches. I mean, maybe I'll do some rewriting for them.
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
A couple punch-ups.
Yeah.
But then I did get the scripts and started reading them, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty funny, but how is this going to work? How is this going to work together? I mean, you've shot 6 sketches in LA, and now you're shooting a bunch in New York. But yeah, it's basically one of under 5 sketch comedy movies, I think, in existence. And it's called Movie 43 for some reason. I have no idea why. Even after watching, shooting it, I have no idea why it's called Movie 43.
Are there 43 sketches in the movie?
Maybe, I don't know. No, that'd be
43 days to shoot it.
There's probably some dumb thing like that. But like Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kentucky Fried Movie was one of the first sketch comedy movies, and then there's another like super famous one. But anyway,
I mean, I almost think like Monty Python is like sketches, but
these were like sketch comedy, a little different. Like Amazon Women on the Moon. I don't know if you remember that movie. I have a poster of that movie, but that's kind of like it's narrative, but it's kind of like a sketch comedy movie. So they existed. I knew what they were. I've watched them as a kid. That was my passion, was just sketch comedy and doing writing and shooting and stuff. And I got called. A friend that worked on Half Nelson was working on this, and she was like, "Hey, I need a prop." I was like, "Cool." Got hired on. Wasn't in the union yet. I think that was The Verge. I still was getting my card, so I was on the list so I could get the job because there weren't enough people out there at that time. So got the job. Started to get into it. It was this producer named Charlie who had done a lot of the Coen Brothers movies. Coen? No. Who's the comedian? Farrelly. The Farrelly Brothers movies.
Very different brothers.
Yeah, different brothers.
Two different brothers. So he'd done a lot of those, and that was his background. So he had the pull with a lot of these big actors to get them to do these weird, tiny parts. And if you look at it, it's like crazy. Uma Thurman, it's just insane to see an actor of that stature with like fake testicles on their throat. It just makes no sense. And it's one thing if it's funny, but that's the other thing is like I didn't find it too terribly funny in spots, I guess, and I guess it's great for the meme world that we live in now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went on it, got the job, and they said, we're doing these 4 sketches or 3 sketches. One's called Superhero Speed Dating. That's with Jason Sudeikis and Uma Thurman, and Jason's playing Batman and Uma Thurman's playing Wonder Woman or something. All generic characters because we didn't have the licensing rights to any of them.
Right.
So I start prepping for that, and then that one was pretty laid back. It was just like superheroes. I had to build a bomb, like an old school like Joker bomb, with the red dynamite sticks,
and the clock.
And the clock. Yeah. So that was a good intro to the whole thing, and it was all great people working on it. The crew was great. It was very. It seemed like everybody was like, "Yeah, this could be something." And then we start doing the home-schooled one, and that's with Jeremy Allen White, who is now famous for The Bear. He was a kid And the sketch was called Homeschooled. And his parents, Liev Schreiber, and his wife, huge actors. I just come off this other movie and was coming on this, so I'd known Liev a little bit and talked to him. And so they pitched it as like, all right, here's the script, here's the thing. It's this kid who's being treated like he's a normal kid, but he's homeschooled. So one of the things we had to do was tape Jeremy Allen White to a flagpole. So we have these pictures of Jeremy Allen White, a young Jeremy Allen White, being duct taped to this pole and being hazed by his parent, Liev Schreiber, and he kept the video I have, which I don't know if it's in the movie, but I'll send it to you guys when I get back. But it's him saying like, "I'm the worst. I suck dicks. I suck big balls. I'm the worst." And it's just like over and over him begging for his life, basically getting hazed by Liev Schreiber. And that was the point where it was like, oh, okay. And then we moved on to the scenes inside, and Naomi Watts, that's the name. Naomi Watts is his husband, a wife of Liev Schreiber, I don't know if they still are. So her scenes, and she was a big deal. Like, she's a big actress. So we got in there, and her first scene was a bedroom scene with the kid. And it was like, they were treating it like she was the date, and it was like his first time. And it was so fucked up. But I mean, as a comedian, I was like, hilarious, awesome. Yeah. You're making somebody cringe and you're doing your job. But because reaction is all you want, But
now that's like every fucking porn movie too.
Yeah.
It's all your fucking stepmom.
Yeah, exactly. It's all has to be family based for some stupid reason. Do better, Pornhub. It doesn't have to. Why does it have to be the niece, the cousin?
Legit.
Why?
Because of movie 43.
You started
exactly. So yeah, well, that was one, and then I had to build like a helmet. He doesn't have any friends because he's homeschooled, so I had to build a life-size doll that he would just carry around as his friend. He's like, "Oh, me and May are going to see a movie," and I'd be like, "Oh, well, tell May I said hello," and then he's like, brings it out, and he's like, "Mom and Dad say hello," It's like, so. I mean, for me, it was a dream come true because I'm working on a sketch comedy movie. I'm seeing all these great actors, Sudeikis, I looked up to, and we do like a backyard scene where, I don't know if you know this, but if you do a keg stand in a backyard scene, a lot of times it's water, or for a long time they did root beer. So I would order root beer from upstate. There's a specific root beer place, and we'd have kegs of root beer on set.
Nice.
So they could do their keg stands. So Jeremy Allen White was in the back doing keg stands and getting yelled at by his father, and yeah, just insane. I don't think it ever worked out correctly. I don't think it's the vision that they were all expecting, especially the actors, having those big names on there. I'm trying to think of the other one.
Do you feel like sometimes when it's funny on set, that means it's not going to work?
Right.
It's like a crapshoot. You just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, even from doing comedy, it's like I can write, sometimes we write a little inebriated or a little stoned or something, and you always have the rule of you can write however you want, but rewrite sober. With write with your heart, rewrite with your mind.
Did that.
Yeah. And so I'm not sure that part happened.
Yeah.